Hi. What are you doing here?
Thanks for the invitation.
Well, I invited you, but I didn't really expect you to come. How long have you been there?
I can't see you. Could we improve things a little?
Yeah, sure. Could you bring the lights back up, please?
Good.
Thanks.
I've been here longer than I guess you know. You brought a lot of people here, and you asked them about themselves. And you probably asked me to watch your operation because I've always been very interested in it. You have a different way of making movies than almost anybody else. Certainly very different than mine. And I came here to find out how it works. And you just announced that it doesn't.
I don't think it does.
I don't think you're sure of that. I think it's one of those moves. I'd like to know what you were after when you were asking those questions. You have apparently a theme.
I was trying to find out why we're all alone. Why my whole generation is alone.
Is there something special about your generation?
Yes.
What?
I think that my generation is the first one that has not managed to create the illusion for themselves in their own lifetime that they are not alone. I'm talking about feeling a part of a family unit that every
family unit.
Yes.
Now you've got a theme. But of course it's a great big, huge theme that no movie can possibly take care of. This is a movie, isn't it?
I hope it can become a movie. I'm beginning to doubt that.
Well, you come a little closer and let's see. I have a terrible feeling that because I'm speaking to you from the back of the theater, and because I have a white beard, you may expect me to give you the truth about something. I'm speaking from the cheap seats, not from Mount Sinai. I think your question is very interesting and apt insofar as it has to do with the collapse of the family, the clan, the collapse of the community sense, and then the clan, and then the family, has to do with the collapse of faith, whether it is faith in something you regard as supernatural, or faith in the state, as Confucius taught it, or Marx, or as they believed in it in the first period of the kibbutzim in Israel. Whenever there is a faith that illuminates people's lives, don't you think that the clan stays together? Is it possible for people not to feel alone when grandma is sent away to a home? And when the family unit is only two people and a child with a divorce either this year or next?
Why?
Why do people divorce?
No, not why they divorce. Why they can't sustain relationships. Why they can't sustain intimacy anymore. I don't understand why. Why
Do you
everybody...
think people ever sustained intimacy?
Well, they seem to have. My parents have been together for 55 years. Everybody else
He goes
I know.
off to work every morning at 10. And what does your mother do?
She has a private life of
And there you are.
entertainment. Yeah.
She doesn't feel that she needs to compete with the man.
Shouldn't we be able to be equal people and not be lonely and share our lives with others?
Let's see. Up to now, no.
Why not?
Well, look at the condition that the women are in.
But why are they in that condition? Why are we in that condition? Why is everybody in this lonely condition?
All right. That brings us to the great revolution of our times, which is the liberation of women. But by liberating women, we are freeing the last of our slaves. And for 15, 20,000 years, there has never been a civilization, ever, not including the great democracy of Pericles in Athens. There has never been a single civilization which has not been maintained by slaves. And you know, it's only about 200 years in the thousands of years that we've been here on this planet, that anybody has thought slavery is wrong. There was never a word against slavery in the most high societies, in the noblest civilizations. Nobody ever said it's wrong to have a slave. We have yet to see whether a civilization could be based on equality. It's a brand new idea. Of these people you have been asking questions to, who were the loneliest?
I think the women were the most conscious of what they were missing, more conscious than the men, but women are more conscious than men.
Because they are missing something.
Not
Because
just
in the process of taking those positions in society, which they feel they should not be denied, and who is to say them nay, they have given up what they've had all this time. And it's bound to create a certain sudden chill.
But you said what they've had is slavery.
Of course.
Of course they want to give up
but
slavery.
it was a very privileged slavery.
Slavery
It
nonetheless.
was the difference between the field slave and the house slave.
Yeah, but they don't want to be house slaves anymore.
I'm not blaming them.
So what's the future?
There are several options. The revolution could fail, as most revolutions do,
Well, we don't want
or
that.
it can succeed, as some revolutions do, and the winners will be the women, and we will be enslaved.
But why does it have to be?
Or we will both be enslaved. We will both be enslaved by a conglomerate kind of totalitarian world run by computers, in which this problem will be so peripheral to the general state of human misery that this is all a waste of time. The future holds many options, many of them grim, many of them irksome.
Oh, God.
You're upsetting me much more. I was depressed enough before.
I
this.
didn't come here to make you cheerful.
I guess
I came
not.
here to see a show.
Help me. I need help.
So do I, Danny.
You can't possibly be saying that this is bad what's happened to women. I mean, you must be happy that what's happened to women is that they've freed themselves
You
sufficient.
know, excuse me.
Where were you? This is Edith. You know each other, I think.
I know this lady so well from the screen.
I've been listening to Danny all day, putting microphones in front of people and saying what's wrong and why are you alone. And you asked Danny who felt the split and the separation, the lack of family the most, and Danny said women. And I felt like it was a projection on Danny's part, because I heard some women today saying that they were having a good time and that they were enjoying their freedom and they were looking for things in life. And I guess I'm limited intellectually, but I'm more interested in the personal point of view.
Yes.
Welcome. You'd be surprised how many of us are very happy people. There are enormous amounts of women friends that I have that are so happy now because they're finding themselves.
Oh, well, happiness I don't know about. I've always been deeply suspicious of that line the founding fathers wished on us, the pursuit of happiness. I'm not very much in favor of that. I think we should be full of joy whenever there's a reason to have joy. But I think happiness is not our right. It's an achievement. It's a bit of luck.
I'm happy. I've had a kid and I've been divorced and I am alone and I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
As well as I'm not lonely and I'm managing to do what I want to do, I'm extremely happy.
Yes.
Is there anybody who's miserable up there? You are?
Yes, I am miserable because women are terribly dangerous.
Women are dangerous.
Yes.
A fatal
I
admission.
said something to Danny. He asked me about I'm all for American women, what they are doing and so on. Actually, the liberation started here and so forth. But I wouldn't like to be an American male. It's not so much question of being equal, but American women consider themselves as a failure if they did not succeed in the men's world. And it's wrong.
I have to cut in. It isn't my struggle to be equal in a man's career. It's that what I'm trying to do is be less responsibility for my mate, you know, in that I have a responsibility to find my own joy or my own life within myself.
But the family has collapsed because women are trying to do what men have never been able to do, which is to be both completely fulfilled in their work and completely fulfilled in their hearthside. Men have been a notable failure at combining these things. Why should women succeed better than we did?
Maybe if some of us women have made the mistake of emulating men in our struggle for independence, and we now want to retrieve our power. Men have stopped being men too. I miss that male energy.
Ole! There's a tremendous diminution in men's energy. It's partly because men are sympathetic to the new revolution, and partly because we are scared to death of it.
Yes.
You're absolutely right, girls. Excuse me. Excuse me, I shouldn't have said that word, should I?
Oh, of course. Yes.
It's all right with
Isn't
me.
isn't it a no-no
No.
calling women girls?
This theater is coming down tomorrow. Are you aware of that? That this theater is being torn down tomorrow?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I am.
What a shame. What more is there to say? There will always be a theater. No matter how many houses are torn down, there will always be a theater, and it may very well be a healthy thing that the old-fashioned theater is done away with. I've tried to make the point that we are doing away with a form of slavery. I've tried not to step on any toes. It has been painful for me in the last few years to say things like chairperson, just as it's been painful for me to lose the valuable word gay, for which we have no equivalent in our dictionary. So I am sorry that our language has had to change with our revolutions. But I am not against these revolutions. I've only tried to point out to you, or rather to Danny, that what we are faced with is a dilemma of a deeply sentimental man, and nothing more. Nobody knows whether we are going to ever have what he thinks is a happy marriage. The options rest in the womb of time.
You have to be willing to let us see some of you. That's it, lie down.